Russia has issued a new threat to the West. The Kremlin is warning of possible retaliation as leaders in Finland and Sweden move to join NATO, saying if there are NATO detachments in those territories, they would become a possible target for a strike. Now, Finland and its citizens are preparing bunkers across the country. Meanwhile, the UK Defense Ministry says Russia has failed to make any significant advances in the Donbas region of eastern Ukraine, and Russian troops suffered, quote, significant loss while attempting to cross a river there. Foreign correspondent Tom Sufi-Burridge joins me live from Kyiv, Ukraine, with more on this. Tom, how significant is this counterstrike from Ukraine against Russian troops in the Donbas?
Well, we've seen the Ukrainians making incremental gains, Diane, up near Kharkiv. That's the second biggest city of Ukraine. So interesting situation there. In terms of the Donbas, the British Ministry of Defence just briefing journalists and effectively saying that there's really been no change there, that the Russians are trying to break through Ukrainian lines. They don't say it's a stalemate. They say that this is a really important time. It could be a tipping point, and it really is a watch-and-see situation to see whether or not the Ukrainians, remember, they've got all this new armour, all this new weaponry supplied by the United States and its allies, artillery cannons, the type of artillery that they just haven't had before, with longer range and better accuracy. It's a crucial point to see whether or not the Russians can break through or whether the Ukrainians can hold them back or even make gains themselves.
Seriously, do you think Finland and Sweden should take this threat from Russia, that they could be targeted if they join NATO? And could the risk be higher if they don't?
I think it's predictable rhetoric from the Kremlin. We've seen this kind of rhetoric before in relation to Ukraine and in relation to NATO and NATO partners. But there is that threat. The rhetoric from Moscow has been fiery. They haven't ruled out the nuclear option. But interestingly, a few days ago, a senior Kremlin official saying on that nuclear threat that actually Russia would only launch it in response to a US nuclear strike. So there is a lot of fiery language. For me, at the moment, a lot of it's predictable.
Now, the U.S. is behind Finland and Sweden joining NATO, but not all members are on board. Turkey's president says that it could actually veto their bids to join. So what are the concerns on Turkey's part, and do you think other member nations could lobby for their approval?
No, I think Turkey, Diane, is trying to play a double game. Turkey's always had a close relationship with Ukraine, financially, economically, geographically. It's not far away. They've even supplied drones to the Ukrainian military, which have been used to high effect in this war. At the same time, Putin and Erdogan of Turkey have been close over the years. And therefore, I think by even entertaining the idea of vetoing Finland and Sweden entering NATO, Erdogan is potentially kind of throwing a bone, if you like, to the Russians. Let's see whether the United States and its allies now wade in, put pressure on the Turks, and let's see whether or not they will veto this or not.
Now, meanwhile, the UK is leveling new sanctions against Russia. What's the latest on that?
Well, these are the latest round of sanctions. We've seen a vast array of sanctions from a huge number of countries, particularly NATO countries. The latest sanctions are actually targeting, from the UK, Putin's inner circle. So it includes, interestingly, a woman, a former ice skater, who is rumoured to have been Vladimir Putin's lover at one point. And on top of that, also his ex-wife and members of his wider family. So the UK trying to target people close to Putin's inner circle. To be honest, I think these sanctions might have a limited impact. You know, it might mean that these people won't be able to travel to the UK, for example. It would mean if they had assets in the UK, those assets could be frozen. But let's be honest, those people have had a lot of time to move their assets out of the United Kingdom and other places like that.
All right, Tom Sufi-Burridge, great to talk to you, Tom. Thank you. Stay safe.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.